For reaction now, let's welcome in Republican Congressman from Tennessee, Tim Burchett. Congressman, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on. All right, so overnight we learned some more from the DOJ. To be clear, we still don't know the details of the materials that were actually taken. Again, we've seen that photograph of documents spread out, highly redacted, of course. But based on the latest DOJ filing, do you believe this is all justified?
I really don't. We really need to find out what's in it. This is highly just unusual for them to show these pictures. It's what you'd see in any kind of security type of thing, is the big red block letters. And of course, this is all placed out, obviously, on the carpet at Mar-a-Lago, I assume, just so they can show the American public. But to me, it's just highly unusual that they would do this. I think they're sensationalizing it. And here we are. The FBI was really the pride of this country. I mean, they built up a reputation for 100 years. And then yesterday, they escorted one of their members out who was obviously involved in running down President Trump. And I think you're going to see a big pattern of that. And I think that doesn't bode well for our federal authorities. And it's sad because the vast majority of them are patriotic Americans. I know many of them in my area. Went to college with a guy who's one of my best friends. His dad was a celebrated member of the FBI. I have in my files letters from J. Edgar Hoover and my grandfather, who was concerned about communism years and years ago. So I fear that the long-standing thing, I don't think much is going to come of it. I think they'll probably indict the president because they'll use some Washington, D.C. judge. And we all know that. They can't get out of their own way in Washington. So I fear we're going to have more of this in the political environment. It's mainly, I think, is a deflection for really how bad things are going in our country, like our economy, things like that.
Well, we're going to learn more from that hearing tomorrow with the Florida district judge. As we know, Donald Trump has called for a special master to oversee the documents that were taken. As James was pointing out in his report, he's claimed executive privilege. He said he's had the power to declassify those documents. Do you agree? Does that sound accurate to you?
Well, the president does have power to do that. But you're always at war with the State Department. We've been talking about Gorbachev and showing President Trump making that great speech about Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down. The State Department had asked him to remove that 3 times, I believe, and he went on and put it back in. So there's always going to be these battles, and there's overstepping of where it's coming from. I just think it's politically motivated. They're on a hunting expedition. They didn't know what they were looking at. If it was so important, why did they wait over 500 days after President Trump left the White House? That's a question that remains to be answered. And I think that my Democrat friends are going to have a hard time answering that. And I believe they'll be sidestepping that the entire time, because they're going to find something in there that they think is controversial, and they'll seize upon it. And because they really don't know what they're even looking for, I don't think.
Again, top secret. That's all that we're able to see from that photograph that was released. We don't know the details, though. Definitely some questions about Trump's attorneys, whether or not they knew additional documents were still being held at Mar-a-Lago, even though it appeared they'd signed off saying they'd returned all of those documents there. Let me move ahead, if we can, for time's sake. Talking about the current president of the United States, he spoke yesterday in Pennsylvania. He spoke about the Safer America plan. Here's what he had to say about supporting police. Take a listen.
When it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer is not defund the police. It's fund the police. Fund the police.
All right, Congressman, that is the messaging going into the midterms. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look at Cori Bush. Look at Speaker Pelosi and the whole squad, or the tribe, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, good gosh, that is the agenda of the left and the Democrat Party, is to defund the police. And I feel sorry for those people that are stuck there. They probably lost a bet to have to be in the background of that picture, because that is not the agenda of this administration or the current Democrat Party. It is not my grandfather's Democrat Party anymore. Their agenda is anti-blue, and I don't think the American people are buying it. Look at the states. Look at New York. in a heated governor's race right now. I mean, look at the people. They get out and they're mugging folks, they're killing folks, so they're not held, no bond. It's clearly a line that's being drawn, and the president's just trying to muddy the waters. He knows he's got problems in that sector, and the American public is definitely not buying it.
All right. We'll have to leave it right there. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett joining us this morning. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right.